Thank you very much. Hello again. Tonight we're devoting the whole of Folio to one of the few events in the region with an international reputation, the Cambridge Animation Festival, with the help of its organiser, Antoinette Moses. It runs from the 15th to the 20th of this month at my favourite cinema in the entire world, the Arts. About Face was made by a talented young animator who was born in New York and says he took up drawing because it was one way to impress girls. He settled in England in the mid-60s. Welcome, Chris James. You've been very patient. What have I been missing out on? Why is animation such a romantic asset?
Put me in the spot here. I'll tell you after the Cambridge Festival.
Okay, fine. Okay. What drew you, though, to animation in the first place, apart from your love of ladies?
I was at the ICA on a lunchtime animation show in about 1974 or 75, and I saw Lautrec by Jeff Dunbar and Putting on the Ritz.
This is the man who made Uber.
Yes. Another film called Putting on the Ritz, and this by Antoinette Starkowitz, and a film by Gerald Scarfe as well. That sort of inspired me to make one of my own. So I bought a second-hand Bolex camera and built a rostrum and got a few books out of the library. And
when you say a rostrum, tell people who don't know what a rostrum is what a rostrum is.
A rostrum is the piece of equipment that actually holds the camera in place, and underneath it you place your drawings. Some rostrums are quite advanced. Mine was just a block of wood.
One point we haven't so far made, and it's a very important one, which was demonstrated in your short film there, was the value of music in animation. Mm-hmm. How do you use it? Do you have the score before you when you start? Do you have it afterwards? What?
Well, with a bass, I had the music to start with, and I broke the music down frame by frame, and then animated to the music. And for a film like About Face, just a theme film, that is the best way to do it because you can get everything in sync, and the music can even suggest the next scene. My first film, I'd added the music afterwards. It's a totally different way of going about it. I had a few things I wanted to say, and the music was secondary.
Now, this country, the financial and artistic climate being what it is, how do you survive while you're making something that matters to you?
Well, I can't speak for other animators, but as far as my own situation is, I'm very lucky to have a freelance job that pays a fairly good hourly rate, and it gives me the time to...
Is that related in any way to animation?
Not really. It's I'm an advertising copywriter, so I write spark plug leaflets and TV commercials, if I'm lucky. But it gives me the time to do the animation.
Now, your major opus in the festival is called After Beardsley. Mm-hmm. What was the origin of that?
You may have noticed in the clip from About Face that when I was caricaturing Oscar Wilde, I started on a drawing by Beardsley of Wilde as the man in the moon. And from there, I built up an interest in Beardsley's drawings. And I read a few books, Beardsley's biography and his book of letters, and I just got very interested in him as a person and his untimely death. And so I wanted to say what would happen if Beardsley suddenly picked up his pen 80 years on. What would we see?
His untimely death at the age of what, 27?
25.
25?
25.
This was in France he died, didn't he?
Yes, in Menton.
And what does happen?
Well, I've put a lot of my own ideas into the film. I'm not trying to make Beardsley say things he never said. He sees some fairly horrific sights. Should I let on?
No, don't let on. Okay. No, we'll strap ourselves to the seat. Finally, then a glimpse of After Beardsley, which took Chris James 2 years off and on, and was achieved on a shoestring. The horrific bits come later. We've saved the gruely passages, as my daughter calls them, for the paying customers, which is only fair. After Beardsley, together with most of the other short films we've looked at tonight, will be on view at the Cambridge Animation Festival, which, just to remind you, runs from September the 15th to the 20th. And for the sake of our two guests, Antoinette Moses and Chris James, and many others involved in the organisation, I hope it's a great success. Thank you both very much indeed for joining.